Welcome to the Trades of the Week, where myself, Marcus de Maria, and my head trader, Dennis Sahlström, take you through the trades that we are placing. We're going to be, in this episode, looking at have we made money again since last week, and also Michael Burry, you'll remember him depicted in The Big Short. Remember in 2008, that massive crash? He made so much money just by looking at the numbers. Well, he's looking at the numbers again. What is he saying? We reveal everything today. And the crypto markets have crashed. Oh my goodness, is this a good time for you to get in when some are at minus 25, minus 30%, especially if it's the first time? Or is it time to bail out? We'll be looking at those charts and looking at some entry positions for you as well. So let's get started. Okay, so let's get to the charts, Dennis. So let's see how we did.
Yes.
All right, so American Tower Corp, obviously we were looking to sell this one short. We were a little bit in profit right there. Let's see what happened.
It is around the same point.
Yeah.
So we're still a little bit in profit here.
Okay, it actually dipped below it a little bit. So it's got momentum down. So this one is looking good. Let's see what happens next week. What else do we have?
Costco.
See, Costco isn't going to do extremely well at these kind of times, just because, you know, a lot of restaurants will obviously get their supplies there as well. But let's see what happened. Yeah, we've got our stop loss. Ooh, did we get stopped out? Visually, it doesn't look like it.
But we're still in.
We're still in.
It's on the cent, right?
So we'll do you think people should get in now? Because they would have an amazing risk-reward ratio if they put a stop loss in.
Yeah.
If you're going to get in, make sure the price gets you in. What would you say?
Looks amazing. The only thing I would mention is the earnings, the big E down here. So that would create some uncertainty in the market, which means that it might move a lot in one or the other direction. We could be lucky, but we could also be very unlucky. So we will see. So as long as it doesn't break below this red candle over here, I would say it's still a valid trade. But be a bit careful. I think there's better opportunities out there now.
That's a good point. And also, it is a trade. It's not an investment. We haven't gone in to invest in this. A trade. So there is going to be a stop loss. What's next, Dennis?
Next up is
TCG.
Yeah, TCG.
All right.
Yeah,
well, we were looking at shorting this one here, and we were just wanting it to go below that red candle. And what happened?
Yeah, and it's still hovering around that same area.
Okay.
Actually.
It's interesting. The market isn't really taking us into massive profits this week. Yeah. Maybe we shouldn't expect it every week, right? Okay.
No, exactly. No, we've been very fortunate so far. Not this week, but the other weeks.
All right, so band here, that would have gotten us in here, and we were in profit. And I said last time that this would have been a good entry point for you to get in. At a better price maybe even than us, but make sure you put your stop loss in. What happened?
And what happened was it actually went up, took us out,
and now it's in profit.
The markets were watching us.
Yeah, the markets are always watching us.
Exactly.
All right.
So this happens, right? This is part of the game.
Yeah.
And then we have Kellogg's. We looked at this as a VCA, and now it was a combination with a Buffalo. We had this support as well. And this is a weekly chart, so every candle represents 1 week. So now when we go to what happened now...
Now, there's no real reason that we use the weekly chart. We normally use the daily chart, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's see what happened.
So now when we look at the daily chart instead, it looks a little bit different, but the trend line is there. And since they sold some more cereals... it's
Have you been eating lots of cereals? That's what Dennis does. You know, when he buys into a stock like Kellogg's, he'll start eating a lot of cereals. We're a little bit in profit there.
Yes, we are actually.
Not a lot, right? But a little bit in profit.
A little bit.
Let's see what happens there.
Yeah. And then we have KGC as well, the really good gold company, the gold miner.
Yeah, so we got in. This one had really good fundamentals. We got in at around the minus 28%, just because that's when we saw it. Let's see what's happened. Hopefully it has gone either way. It doesn't really matter. If it's gone up, we make profit. If it goes down, it gives us another entry point. Now, interesting, because normally we get in at minus 20%. We got at minus 28%. So, Dennis, would you then, from the top, would you work out, if that's minus 28, would you go at minus 38? Now, I put him on the spot here because I'm not sure he knows the answer.
I would go at minus 38-ish because because that's the next support level, which is why I've drawn the red line down here.
What? You were prepared?
Okay. Born prepared. No, so I'm looking to enter around this level here, which is around a 38-ish % down. So that's a little bit more advanced way of using it, just because we're looking at where is it likely to turn.
It's very important that we always take that from the high. So it's minus 28 and then minus 38, minus 48. By the way, that's a bit random, I know, but that's because we saw it at minus 28. Okay, very good.
Yeah, and then we also have edits.
But by the way, just so you know, obviously, I don't need to say this, but if you agree with this and you have done your own research, you agree with the fundamentals, you can get in using the VCA strategy, of course. Make sure you have that. You can get in at a lower point.
Yeah, an even better price than we have.
Yeah. Editas? Oh yeah, because so we were up a little bit, but we need more than 10% really. I go for 15. Dennis is a bit greedy, so he goes for 20% on these. But then it came all the way back down. So what happened there?
It's actually gone down even lower.
Even lower. All right, even lower. So now, what is going to be our next entry point? So we got in at minus 42, so I guess at minus 52. But again, do your own research. You could get in at a better price than us.
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
Anything
and the last
else?
one is a crypto we have. That's Oxen, the one that Elon Musk tweeted about, because they have this secret or decentralized and what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
A secret messaging service session. What was it called? So it's a way for you to be able to communicate with others, like Signal, without anyone kind of knowing or able to steal your information. So it's a decentralized and secret way you can communicate.
Okay, so we looked at it at minus 40 to get in, and then let's see what happened.
Well, we're going to speak about this later, but the crypto market is going down a little bit at the moment.
A little bit, yeah. It is tanking down at the moment, which is, by the way, we are going to talk about that. Is that a buying opportunity or not? By the way, why don't you comment below to see what you think? Is this a buying opportunity right now, especially on something like Oxen, which, by the way, is a very small cap stock. So you need to make sure you really have done your research there. All right, very good. So let's see what we have for this week. Generally in the markets, if I look at the news, it's a little bit more negative, I would say, than positive. Notably, Michael Burry, Burry. He's the guy who... Did you see the film, The Big Short?
Yes, I've seen it.
Yeah, where everybody's buying, properties and a couple of people, I think it was like 3 different people, saw what was happening, and then they made a ton of money going down. One of them was Michael Burry. And do you remember he was the drummer? He had a bit of a glass eye, and he was always walking around in shorts and everything. And he was losing his company so much money as it didn't go down, but in the end he was vindicated. He basically says that the stock market is dancing on a knife's edge. Wow. And fears he's being ignored again. The Big Short investor said extreme speculation and debt could cause a crash. He got it very, very right last time, just looking at the numbers. No emotions, no technical analysis, nothing like that. It was pure fundamentals by looking at the numbers. Now, that could mean, we know the numbers, right?
We do know the numbers. It doesn't look very good. I mean, if you look at how much money they're printing, which we have been speaking, we sound like a broken record, but they also said, like, last time, no one listened to me. Everybody kept buying. This time, no one listens to me. Everyone is keeping to buy, right? So it's very interesting. But yeah, I guess numbers don't lie at the end of the day.
I'll tell you what would be really interesting is to find out what he's shorting. You know, what sector, which stock. Maybe we should make a note of that and have a look at that, and we will report back next week on that. So again, cautious. Obviously, you know, we might be coming out of lockdown here in the UK. That could be a good thing. But let's do some longs and some shorts just in case. Dennis?
Absolutely. So the first one here was, we looked at this last week. It was Apple. We had this in a shorter term. It looked fairly good, I would say. But what happened after was it actually went down instead and took us out with a 1% loss.
1% loss on that, on our entire portfolio. Okay, very good.
Either we earn or we learn. And the big learning here could be, we looked at this shorter trend, as you could see, the inner blacker one here, inner black one. And then now you have the a longer term trend as well, where it's at the moment. I would probably wait a little bit to see if it consolidates. And if it does break even lower, we could get in as a VCA, because Apple is a good company.
It is a good company, but these are scary highs. But it is a good company. By the way, Dennis just said something. You either learn or you earn. Okay? Now that's really important. You might want to write that down. And that's what we do always. We're either learning or we're earning. So it's all good, and that's very, very important because you are going to have losses, but what can you learn from those losses? And as long as you're doing everything right, that's fine, but maybe there is something that you can do a little bit better. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
Alrighty. What else?
All right. So next up is Merck.
Now we're in this one.
Yeah. We are in this one.
This was a horizontal buffalo. Good time to get in. Yeah,
and currently it's just hovering about.
Okay.
I like the candle from yesterday. Looks like a bullish hammer. And so if you have not seen this before, it could be a good opportunity to have a closer look at it, I would say.
Yeah, since we're into this one, you could be getting at a slightly lower point than us here. Remember to set your stop loss. This is a trade. We're not getting here on an investment. What is next?
Yeah, so next up is the CNNE.
Aha.
This is another company, just had their earnings and they were okay. So it looks good currently. If I zoom in a little bit here, you can see that there's a couple of candles here where it's consolidating. If we break above those, that would be a great point to get in because it's showing us that it's moving in our direction, which is why we have a stop order in place as well.
Yeah, so a stop order to get us in, as well as a stop loss to get us out at the bottom. Very good.
Absolutely.
Okay, next.
But then obviously, since the market looks a little bit bearish at the moment, we are looking at short opportunities as well.
Yes.
And the first one is Crown Castle International, CCI. And looks like a good downward trend. And we're just waiting for a little bit of negative momentum or bearish momentum to move this in our direction.
So it's not enough to have a candle that would have taken you in. You actually want to see maybe a little shorter, but definitely a red candle.
Yes, I'm in this at the moment because I placed it yesterday. It took me in.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, so I'm in this at the moment because in the shorter term, if we were to really break it down, which is something you will learn in your trading journey, you can look at smaller time frames. And then it looks like sellers are coming back a bit. So yes, I think this could be a good opportunity.
I'll tell you why I like this one. This one to me looks like a 1-to-4 risk-reward ratio, which obviously minimum we have is a 1-to-3. So that one is looking really good. Do we have another short?
We do have another short.
Aha.
And that is Salesforce.
Ooh.
Now, this was, it's getting close to earnings, so we'll see what happens. And don't forget, they actually bought Slack, the big communication company. We spoke about this before, or a CRM system. And what we can look at here is a downward trend. It looks good. It looks like it's coming down a bit. But we'll see what happens during earnings. So
it's actually surprisingly gappy, this stock, around earnings, right? So you see the earnings here, there's a gap there, earnings here, there's a gap there. Earning is coming, it's already gapped. So it is quite a gappy little stock. Some people don't like that. I personally don't mind that, but a lot of people don't particularly like that one there. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah, so be a little bit careful with this one. Look at it, and if you know the strategies, you could enter, but you need to follow the strategies properly and assess the risk as well.
All right, that's it for this section. Let's go and see what's happening in cryptos. Okay, well, what a week in cryptos. After literally going up, things seem to be coming down. Absolutely incredible. But first, look, cryptos is gaining traction in terms of usage, no doubt about that. And MasterCard doubled down again on its statement earlier, saying that they were going to be offering cryptocurrencies. MasterCard is huge. That, of course, is on the back of Visa doing the same, and PayPal as well. Elon Musk always tweeting now about cryptos almost on a daily basis. He referred to it as gold, which we believe as well, but liquid gold and better gold. But let's have a look at the markets. Because it has gone down, Dennis.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I think was interesting with the MasterCard statement was they just need to do it. They want to give the users an option because it is now recognized as an asset, right? As money. So they just have to do it, which I find interesting. And if they are doing it, I think a lot of others are looking at it as well. But let's start by looking at Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going down, but for me, it doesn't look that like the chart we're looking at looks very bullish to me. That I think it will continue up. This is just
so for
normal.
you. This is just part of an uptrend. Yeah. If something goes up too much too fast, that's not healthy. You need to have the buyers and sellers. So consolidating. So basically, you're going to have these kind of a pullbacks, then up pullbacks. And then we believe it's going to go up more. Okay, what else has come down? I mean, everything's gone down.
Yeah,
okay.
So the message is don't panic. Follow the strategies. That is really important to do.
Yeah.
And then if we have a look at the next one, which is Uniswap, because we have some really interesting opportunities here. And Uniswap is one of the biggest decentralized exchanges where a lot of new cryptos are being bought. We have, for example, there are new projects coming out. So we have Polka Starter, and that might not say anything to you, but that's a platform where they raise money for decentralized projects. So they are just raising incredible amounts of money. They're getting sold out so fast. I spoke to someone yesterday.
So, Adam, what are you saying? You're saying that they are on Uniswap?
I'm coming to, that's the point. So the point is that all those projects are launching on Uniswap. They're not launching anywhere else. Everything new, all the they're launching on Uniswap.
And remember that Uniswap actually had more volume at one stage than Coinbase, and they haven't hardly been around at all. Now, I would say something about Uniswap, though. They're very expensive.
It's Ethereum that's expensive, but that is
okay. It makes it expensive, right? So there are others that are coming out now. But anyway, so this one down from a high is down 32%. It was down a lot more there as well. And obviously, if you have a strategy like we do, that would be a good entry point. If you thought Uniswap was a good one to get into, make sure you do your own research.
Absolutely. And next up is Theta.
Why do you like Theta, right?
Yeah, I do like Theta. I do like a lot of projects. But what I do like with Theta is that it's a streaming software, right? It's a streaming company, and it's the leader when it comes to decentralized streaming. So think YouTube, think these services where you can see a lot of videos, but this is a decentralized way of doing it, where the users actually gain a lot of recognition and they earn a lot on doing it. But what's so interesting is that they have a lot of users, and it is steadily increasing as well. So a good company to get into.
They have partners such as Samsung. One of the co-founders of this is a co-founder of YouTube. I mean, it's got some heavy people behind it. People love this one. So if you're looking to get into these, okay, instead of, and this is something that I wanted to say in general, you can look at this as a meltdown and get out, or you can look at this as your opportunity to get in, right? When you have something which is 25%, think about it, 25% down, is that an opportunity to get into? So I know that a lot of our graduates who aren't yet in will be looking to use this, always with a strategy though, and do your own research.
Yeah, and one thing you need to ask yourself as well, what is your strategy? Are you looking to do this for the next couple of years? Do you just have a month where you really need to, right? So you need to see what strategies you're going to use.
I mean, we always have a much more longer term point of view, unless we're trading with a stop loss, which we don't tend to do with cryptos. Actually, we do have one strategy that we do, but we don't tend to. Let's have a look at the next one there.
Yeah, so next up is the CRO.
Wow, look at that. Went massively up on some news. And I'm guessing that's because they are burning their tokens, right?
Correct. So they did a massive token burn. And what does that mean? Well, that means that the supply is decreasing. And if the same amount of users, but the supply amount of coins they have in tokens, that's decreasing a lot, the price usually goes the other way. So it is a good project. They have I would say the most important one they have, or one of them, they have an exchange, but also a card, like a MasterCard, Visa card, and you get cashback, really good cashback on everything you buy, and you get like free YouTube or free Spotify, you get 3 services when you use the tokens for this card as well. So
I think people are jumping on the bandwagon of BNB, that's the Binance coin, which has just shot up. We really need to look at Binance coin in the next couple of weeks. It's absolutely shot up as it's creating this ecosystem for Binance, the largest exchange in the world. And we use it a lot. It's absolutely fantastic. And it's also allowing a lot of new startup companies to build its ecosystem out. So Binance one is like, and they always burn tokens. I've been mentioning this forever, that they're burning tokens, and it looks like they're looking to do the same. And if you like those kind of things, have a look at the KuCoin coin as well. Okay, let's continue.
Yeah, so next up is Mana. This is Decentraland. Now, what's interesting with Decentraland is that they are kind of in this new trend. NFTs are becoming and are very hot at the moment.
So what are non-fungible tokens, Dennis?
Yeah, that is. So imagine Pokemon cards, imagine hockey cards, right? But this is on the blockchain. So there will only be one card of Lionel Messi, and you can buy that card, and then and then you will be the only holder in the world of this virtual Messi card.
By the way, some of these Messi cards, some of these are really, really expensive. Like you could have, if you got in early, like at $1 or $10, some of them are being, the players in the US, some of them are going for, I wouldn't say hundreds of thousands, but something like $30,000 now if you got in early. So what does Decentraland allow you to do with those, Dennis?
Yeah, so this is a platform. Look at it as an exchange as well, but this is a platform for buying. Could be buying. So they are hosting and allowing you to buy these NFTs.
Now,
So
I'm not into NFTs yet, so for me, this is a good entry point. So I personally will be going into this one because I'm not in Decentraland. Boo! Why am I not in there, Dennis? All right, let's have another look.
Yeah.
But remember, we have a strategy. So if it goes down, we will buy some more.
Yeah, so these are the cryptos today that we're looking at, but make sure you go back in the past couple of weeks because a lot of those cryptos will be down as well.
Yeah. Some of them are holding strong as well. So, for example, I like ADA. I like Cardano, the Ethereum killer. And it just fell 10%. Well, it fell more. It fell to minus 30, but then, pushed back up again to just about minus 10%. So that's interesting as well.
It is interesting. And one last thing I want to mention here, when the market is falling, it's interesting because I've seen banks now, including Swedish banks, but also Janet Yellen here from the US as well. She has been saying that be aware of cryptos. They're a very risky and speculative investment. And
but if you don't know what they're doing, they are high risk. They are speculative.
Yeah.
And listen, here's the thing. A lot of people got wrecked in this current fall in the last 24 hours. Why? Because they're trading without much knowledge, but also with massive leverage because they hear stories of, well, I've only got like, $100 to maybe $1,000. And so they need to leverage up. So they go into the market with maybe 10,000 or 100,000. And if it goes your way, you can turn that into hundreds of thousands really, really fast. But if it goes the other way, you get wiped out. And something like $2 billion of people's money got wiped out just now because they're over leveraged. We don't use leverage.
Absolutely. So be careful with that, right? Don't get into the hype of just 99%, I would say, will lose money over time with that. So if you are using leverage, you need to be experienced, but also need to use a stop loss as well.
That's key. Because we don't, right, use a stop loss because we're not leveraged. But if you are leveraged, you must use a stop loss. I would place it, but Kraken, maybe they'll take you out. They might see your stop losses there. So at least have one written down with a partner with a gun to your head saying, if it gets to that point, take me out. All right, well, brilliant. So we got some real, I think, buying opportunities here on some cryptos that maybe you haven't gotten into. So thank you, Crypto God. Does that?
I think so. Who is it? Satoshi?
Satoshi, yes.
Nakamoto? Yeah, it could be. Yeah, so the message is really, we are seeing this as a buying opportunity. Be careful with leverage and do your research, but also use a strategy. Because with our strategies, we want it to come down. This is what we've been waiting for. If you were willing to buy Bitcoin at 50,000, why not at 48,000? Why not at 30,000?
Yeah.
Right? It's a sale, but when it's investing, your mind thinks the opposite way.
Very good. Okay, so let's have a look at our investing positions. We have some really good ones for you today because, of course, COVID has wreaked havoc in businesses and we are all a lot more hygiene and cleaning conscious. What does that mean? Well, there are some companies that can really take advantage of that. For example, let's have a look at Kimberly-Clark.
Yes, so we have Kimberly-Clark here. So it's actually from the high, it's down 20% from that high.
Yeah.
So we have a discount.
We do, but it's taken a long time for that to come down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I hope it doesn't take 5 to then go up. That's the only thing I would say about this.
I agree. I like this at the support level now. However, investing on the other hand I do agree with you, but investing is a little bit more long term. So I wouldn't mind to be in for a couple of maybe months in a good company that I will eventually make profits in.
Yeah, solid
even though
company.
I'm impatient.
This is a solid company. You're talking about the Procter & Gamble's of this world, the Johnson & Johnson's of this world. It's kind of like that. It's a very solid, it has brands like Kleenex, Huggies diapers, Kleenex tissues, etc., and so forth. The chances are you probably used some of their products. But again, this is not a trade. This is an investment. So we're going to be going in with our first position at minus 20. We have a calculator which tells us how much money we have to invest, how many times we think we're going to be getting in, and it'll tell us how much to put into this one. Okay, so let's see what happens in that.
Yeah. And then we have another one, and we actually have a little bit more faster moving one. We're going to come to that in just a moment, but before that we have also Renewable Energy Group Incorporated. Because apparently they have been suffering from the past couple of days through some news and because renewable energies have been blamed for the global warming in a way. So news has brought the companies down in price.
Well, I have to say, though, in the last few months, this one has been rocketing up almost 100%. I mean, it obviously hasn't hurt them. This must be some very, very recent news here.
Yeah, it is very recent news, exactly. Last week.
Are you looking to trade this?
You could trade it. That's what I've been looking at now as well. But I would say you could do both, right? You can make the decisions almost down 20%, which is great for a first entry. And then we do want it to go down 30 and 40% as well, so we can enter again. But you could trade it as well, because it looks to be a fast-moving stock, both up and down. So you could use it for the Buffalo strategy as well. I would like to see a smaller candle, though. The last one is fairly large. So if this candle today becomes smaller, then yes. And then after earnings as well, we have earnings in a few days, then yes. Then I would look to trade this as well.
All right. Do we have any more?
We do have another one. So two of the faster moving ones. COVID vaccines are not being rolled out as efficiently. In UK it's really good actually, but I know in a lot of countries in Europe they're changing rules a bit. They have and it's funny, right? You didn't think about that, but with the vaccines they need the what do you call this? Where you the needle with the injection.
The syringe? Or?
Yeah, exactly. They don't have enough of those.
Oh.
Yeah, because it what a business idea, right? Now we could be selling those. But it's interesting how it works. But now then, some of these vaccines companies, we still hope they're going to break through and
this is really interesting, right? How some investors think things through. So they're saying, right, so if now there are going to be all these vaccines out there, should we get into vaccines company? Yes. But then the next person says, aha, but what do we also need, right? We need the syringes to administer them, etc. and so forth. Well, what does that mean? So we got to get into the syringes companies. Okay, and then the next person would say, but that means if they're made of, I don't know, steel, the little pointy needle things, does that mean we need to invest in steel? So it's the way of thinking right through the supply chain. Very, very interesting indeed. Gloves, for example, all the things that you need for this. So what are we saying with, because we went into this one here.
We went into this.
Had a nice 40% gain.
Came out in the stop loss.
I love that, to be honest. I love the fact that, I think we raised our stop loss to even higher. But let's just say that it's come down to this point here. And I love that when you make a profit on one, then it quickly starts coming down again. But it needs to fall a little bit more now.
It is down 33% now, actually, which is why we're looking at this now. So we're revisiting this. We have been patient. I would like to see a little bit of bullish momentum, but it's a great time to get in the first time, I think, as a VCA.
Your first position. Absolutely fantastic. So let's see how they progress over the next few weeks. So I hope you enjoyed the trades of the week. Please comment below if you agree or disagree. We want to get some discussion going there on any of the coins that we have mentioned. Do you think it's bullish? Do you think it's bearish right now? What do you think is happening in terms of cryptos? Because, look, is now an opportunity to get in? Is that what you're thinking? Comment below. Or is now when the bubble has finally burst and you are getting out? What is it that you are doing? Don't be scared to comment below. And also, if you like this week's episode, make sure you hit that like button. More importantly, though, Dennis, is that you do subscribe to this channel. Why? Because every week we go through the stocks and the cryptos that we are looking at, and that means that you can use this as a jump-off point to do your own research. And what we're going to be doing as well is kind of keeping a tally of, overall, are we making money, are we not, and watching our account grow. So make sure you're subscribed so you can see that in action.